Okay, let's take a look at Geometry 4.4, Problem 11. And we're going to be solving for the lengths of A and B given C. So again, we're given C because it's the hypotenuse. So on number 11, it's telling us that C is equal to 6 times the square root of 3. Okay, and we're talking about the units is going to be yards. And it's wanting us to solve for A and B. A and B. Okay, so we already know what C is. So because I have to have the length of A right here to solve for B. So first I have to determine A. I can't do B first. I have to do A. So I use my formula C equals 2A. If C is 6 times the square root of 3, which is determined over here, that was the given. Okay, 6 to the square equals 2 over A. Now remember, I have to get A by itself. So to do that, I'm going to divide out by 2. And then this cancels this. But then here, 2 goes into itself once, and I can take and make this a 3. So what I'm left with is 3, the square root of times the square root of 3 equals A. So for my final answer for A, I'm just going to say 3 times the square root of 3. And that is A. Now that I have A, if you need to pause and take a look at that, you can. Okay, we're going to move on to B now. So now that I know what A is, now I'm going to try to solve for B. And I can do that because with my formula A square root of 3, and I know that A equals 3 times the square root of 3, I'm just going to take and plug that in right here. So that when I write it, I'm going to say B equals 3 times the square root of 3 times square root of 3. Okay, so this right here, this 3 times the square root of 3 is going to be equal to my A. And then this square root of 3 right here, it's already listed for me right in here. Okay, so hopefully you can see the difference in those. So this whole thing here, square root of 3 times square root of 3, that's what A is equal to. And this square root of 3 is right here. And so when I go to multiply this out now, I'm just going to say B equals, all right, and it's at 3. What do I multiply 3 times? Well, again, theoretically, this is like saying 1 times the square root of 3. So it would be like saying 3 times 1 is kind of what that would be saying. So then I just drop my 3 down here. But then my square root of 3 can be multiplied by my square root of 3. So square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is 9. Okay. Now I have to look at this for a minute because where it might look like it's done, what I have to notice here is that 9 can be made into a perfect square. I can take 3 times 3 and get 9. So this square root then must be 3. So I have my 3 here, which I'm going to move over. And then the square root of 9 is 3. And so what I'm really saying is that B is equal to 3 times the square root of 3. And then 3 times 3 equals 9. So then B equals 9. So if I come back and I look now, I've completed this problem, and if I look at it, then I can say that C, which is what I was given, was 6 times the square root of 3. And then I determined A over here. So then A was 3 times the square root of 3. And then B, which I determined down over here, ended up being 9. And then my units, obviously, for all these are in yards. And so that concludes problem number 11 in 4.4. Good luck.